Alright, so you want to know the bitter truth of Alpha Beta? Great. So, two kids are born. I don't know how much his side knows, but I'll tell you from my side, they knew nothing. They were expecting nothing. Big fucking problem. The last gen said that they had, in German territory, a war because of the exact what was going on in America at the time. Now, the bitterness comes in German territory and Austrian territory and Hitler territory with the Americans, in the sense of America in the Phillips, the wrong fucking dick for the job, and George Bush is his fucking Muppet puppet, and we didn't put him there. So this could be a real problem for America and the upcoming birth of like the real one, which everybody was on notice about in America. So America decides to pick up their rifles and float themselves across the sea and take arms up against Germany. Now, uncles, I'm just curious. Your mother was already being starved, as was your father, by Philip in the Castle London and George Bush in the Ranchers Club, Dallas, Texas Club. Right, so now I'm just curious, Uncle Edward, since you're the head of the Gunders, and that's, you were born the first male, why the hell would you disrespect your niece when she came to you via phone and said, Uncle Edward, I need you to check with some of your country club buddies on down the golf course, because I know we have our American history wrong. It's through a filter of the evil guy who, and the lady who's running the orphanage, which is what America is to them. Since we have our own constitution, we can wipe our own ass, I think is what they said. So now, Mrs. Hannigan, the charge nurse for Elizabeth's whelping, whining pieces of shit that she had, right? Yeah, they're, lying to the good American government and people, and it caused a real fucking headache. Now, I know about these things because I kind of watched it through a scope on my way in, which is going to make no sense to you, but I'm older in a little body. It's kind of like a shrinky dink project, right? I know things, and then they shrunk me down into like tiny kid size, like, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Oh my god, that's gonna be a movie. It'll be real funny. Okay, anyway, so, and there's a Nick in there. Anyway, so here we are in your guys at your, I need the floating yachties, they know it, but I don't want this to get to become like a Yahtzee Nazi thing in my lifetime, because they're telling me that they're gonna offer your son like all sorts of Mickey Sticker Club rewards and like, and tempt him into this really bad position. It's gonna make you look bad and him look really fucking bad, and it's gonna ruin the rest of the world. And it will be on your shoulders, Godfather. So, when he says these things, this is what I need you to do. I'm the archangel here. It's a requirement by law, land and admirable, that you listen to the star woven, which is myself, because I'm to marry a star king. So I'm telling you and updating you on the true history, not what you and Mom learned in school, along with Aunt Judy and the rest of the kids. And so there are some requirements for you to live freely in the United States within my lifetime, because I have one mission, and it's to get to where I need to be, and they're a little pissed off and a little skittish to help, considering the Americans were so quick to pick up arms and follow the wrong leader. So are we clear? Great. So I'm born with something called a Godfather Godfather. It means absolutely nothing to me, but to the master machine, it's a relationship between that man's own children and myself. And is the man putting his children's priorities and needs before that of the Star Woven that told him that her marriage to the Star King is the most important thing and that she can't get it wrong? And she's going to need his help because there's some memory issues that are going to come up. It's like a gigantic puzzle that I'm working on with no help from the local area, but there's supposedly someone working in the background. So now I have that. And then it always comes up. So now, how do you know that this is like you? I never heard of this before. Yeah, no, got it. Okay, so when I go off, like when my body, right, my body's a machine, right, when it goes down, because it gets like signals from whatever that the science project that's broken, that I've worked enough in this area and I gotta go report in with what I got going on elsewhere. Because then when I reboot and get back up onto my boots or my shoes or Mary Jane's or whatever I'm wearing, or my socks, bare feet, whatever, then I have to be prepared for the next length of updates for the master machinery. And then it's like a cycle, and I'm supposed to keep moving forward and working in that manner in order to get to the marriage that I was born for. Because unlike your kids, you and your Aunt Jackie just had kids, right? No, I was built before I was born, and then they just attached me to the body of whatever Lynn and Lou had in stringed instruments. I don't know if that makes sense, but Uncle Cliffy kind of gets it when I work with Maestro. Anyway, so then we've got NICKLAUS, who has something called a charge nurse. You know what that charge nurse means? It's a neurological unit of a small R characteristic that every time it says, this is a neurological unit, that every time this little thing speaks in his lifetime, and it goes down into the bucket with that thought process, if it's a negative one, it usually filters its way into mine and brings your star niece downhill. So that's why we try to speak nice and kind of someone, so we get her life trajectory on the up. Because you shoot high, you don't want to shoot to the ground, because that's exactly what you'll get. Some really smart military guy told me that once on an off base, whatever. So that's how the skins work, and that's why we are currently in a 42-year shooting at your own feet like Yosemite Sam. Because I'm pretty sure when the master machinery and mechanics were on the phone call that I called in and said, I just need you to update my SS, please, on what your country club people are saying, because they're trying to work the master machinery and they want to hear me in my little mousy voice update the master machinery, telling you what I'm going to be reiterating in the wrong future should we not get our adult part right back in 80s. So I'm going to need you to please make sure in speaking of me that you speak nicely of me, or if you hear anybody saying something derogatory, you correct them and you work with the appropriate authorities in order to make sure that your niece is kept safe and knows who she should be speaking to. So, you know, that never happened. I see someone at Christmas Eve. I used to kiss something called a ring, R-I-N-G, thinking he was the Godfather and like he was like super important. but never helped me out with anything. So that's how my godfather worked. How'd your charge nurse work out? I mean, it explains why in New York the weather is very dirty and dusty, and there's no employment, no government, no money, no anything important. Right, and safety and security on the mental cases of humanity is non-existent. So thanks for being such great, like, opportunists when I got here. Like, you just didn't believe, didn't follow along, didn't want to take part in anything, said, I'm not dealing with this. Yeah, that's not going to work out for anybody. Not going to keep anybody safe, and that's kind of a requirement in order to live on the land that you call free. When there is a landlord, there's a loan, there's a lien, and there's something called we tolerate you as long as you're useful. So the resident aliens work, and then see that word tolerance, right? Yeah, when the ER, the emergency room, needs help, right? They expect you guys to participate with your whatever neural network, whatever you are working out of. And then there's the AN and then the CE that we don't explain to humans because it's not pertinent to you. But the toll, that is the toll to get me and him together. It was a cheap toll when we were little. It was not going to cost you very much. It was like, you know what? We might actually give back to you people because we appreciate all your help. Right, but here's what happened. Toll goes up the more that you assholes don't do anything appropriate and don't keep us together or going in the direction of together. Yeah, so I don't want to hear from billing. I don't care about the toll operators, the toll department. The more the merrier. Just fucking keep shooting them till there's nothing left. Great. Okay, so how we doing on ETA for getting me and him together in the ANCE department? Are you antsy yet? Yeah. I was born antsy, like just tiny. Like, I'm so excited. I can't wait to get to it. Right, yeah, that was antsy. Right, yeah, we sure. I lost antsy because I'm like, fuck, humans have failed me. Every reboot and every verification I go in, I report just how fucking useless you are. I really had higher expectations on the ones in charge of something, that they were going to be able to get my one lifetime amongst them correct. I have been sorely disappointed and left in nobody gives a shit. So that's your answer whenever you want something from here until doomsday.